Okay, let's try and do it in English. Fortunately, I know your English is better than mine.
No, I don't think so.
Kobus, welcome. First of all, you are no longer a Boerboel breeder, but you've got a history in the breed that nobody can ever take away. You've got a history that contributed greatly to the breed. Where do you stand at the moment? What do you've got no involvement with the breed. Would we ever see you back in the breed?
It's a very enticing question. Recently I am not involved in Boerboels anymore. I do get a lot of international questions from people that I met over the years. And unfortunately, I don't think that I will be involved in Boerboels again. I don't think so.
No, that's a very good answer. One can only be honest about these things. Give us a little bit of your background with the breed. When did you start?
Well, I think I should start by saying that I grew up in northern Transvaal, where incidentally, black Boerboels were quite often seen on farms. Mm-hmm. But in those days, I think that the black were more black dogs with brindle striped legs and lots of white. Mm-hmm. They were more the English bulldog type, mm-hmm. In other words, shorter legs and thicker bodies and bigger heads and a lot more lip. But that is how I grew up. I was born close to SABT, the big orange estate, in those days belonging to the Slashengers, in a small missionary hospital. And I grew up on a farm about 20 kilometers from there. When I was born, there were Boerboels on the farm, normally 7, 8, 9, 10 Boerboels. And they were working dogs. Lots of times they were used to herd cattle and even sheep. Some of them were a lot better workers than others, but they were farm dogs. I moved to Johannesburg in 1970 when I was 21 years old, and I stayed in Springs on the East Rand basically for another 18, close to 19 years. For the next 2.5, 3 years, I've been traveling between Kroonstad and Springs due to business activities in Kroonstad. And then in 1990, more or less, I moved to Kroonstad permanently. But around 1987, 88, I met a couple of people with Boerboels in Kroonstad. Kroonstad at that stage being the head office of the SABT, with Lucas van der Merwe being chairman. And I became involved in the SABT, and I bought a couple of Boerboels from various people, and been involved with that.
Okay, Kobus, very nice, thank you. So you basically saw the first organization being formed, and you were very close to the formation. When did you start attending meetings of the organization that is still today known as the SABT?
Yeah, the SABT was formed a couple of years before I got involved. I think about four years before I got involved. But I started attending meetings around 1987, 88. I think I became a member. My membership number, I think, is 340, if I remember right. And I became a member around 1989. They issued me a number. But before I actually became a member, myself and Yvonne were involved in administration work for the SABT. At that stage, Anneke van der Merwe, Lucas van der Merwe's wife, was doing the administration, and a lot of people complained, and meeting Lucas and finding out what problems they had, we just stepped in and started doing some administration for the SABT. And well, of course, a lot of people know that the SABT's offices were in my house for many years. We stayed in quite a large house in Suidrand in Kroonstad, and we managed the administration of the SABT from there. Yeah, I became a board member of the SABT a year or what later, and for many years I've been the international board member. Very fortunately being able to visit a lot of countries all over the world. We started doing breeders' courses, which I think was a turning point in the history of the Boerboel and in the history of the SABT. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Kobus. I'm going to